In today's taped briefing, 5 cabinet members were given specific tasks as we move forward to the new normal. We'll go above and beyond the headlines and speak to one of them, Trade and Industry Secretary Mon Lopez. Secretary Lopez, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Hello. Yeah, good evening, Pia. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Are you already speaking to those companies or manufacturing companies, for example, that will be allowed to reopen in the ECQ and the GCQ areas?
Yes, we're in constant dialogue with all companies, manufacturing and service oriented. So for ECQ, as mentioned, there will be no changes. It's status quo. So those companies allowed to operate will continue to operate, especially those in the food, the essential, other essential products, some services like banks and supermarkets, retailers, drugstores, and the like. No, so continue lang yon. In the GCQ, it will allow more sectors or companies to operate, including partial opening of the malls, but for non-leisure businesses, as well as construction activities. So still selective, but at least there are more sectors open.
And Secretary Lopez, what are the biggest concerns of all these companies now that we're moving into this new normal, whether it is in the ECQ or the GCQ areas? For one, for example, would they be most concerned about transportation for their workers? Because that's the question. How are people going to get to the factories, for example, to the companies, to the offices?
Yeah, that's true. Yung operations, especially moving their workers right now. Those permitted, especially like the exporters and the BPOs, they made arrangements for transportation, like private shuttling services of employees. Ang problema, those shuttle services are even stopped at checkpoints. No? So minsan there are in really getting through the checkpoints. So that has to be ironed out. No, that has to be, I guess, solved that problem. And then what else? The movement at certain points in the movement of cargoes, they also get stopped at checkpoints, especially those at the barangay level. So that unfortunately that problem continues to crop up. So that has to be solved. No. The other thing would be, of course, they're just concerned on the need to open up so that they can resume operations. But in fairness, to many companies we've talked to, they understand the extension because we've been telling them that the basis of the considerations with respect to the lifting of the ECQ really depends a lot on the health factor, the infection rate,
Right.
the capacity to do testing, or the capacity of testing facilities. Now, so there is that balance that you'd have to find versus naman the need to open up again the economy. But we all accept that health takes precedence or primacy here.
Right. Secmon, may testing ang ibang kumpanya, right? They will be using like rapid test kits or other testing, right? Because they want to, balita ko, no, some companies want to be able to check if their workers can go back to work, and then parang meron silang mga internal arrangements na gagawin precisely to make sure na very healthy pa rin ang mga tao nila.
That's true. But, the kind of testing that when this ECQ consideration was taken up, whether to lift or not to lift, to continue the ECQ, one factor really is the testing capacity. And when we talk of testing capacity, we're talking of the PCR base, not yung gold standard. That's the reason why when we talk to companies, the good thing is that the companies, this is the business sector, for instance, they said that in opening up their operations, they might be able to help out also in terms of increasing the testing capacity because they will be doing the testing of their employees, no, and before they allow them to get back to work. and increasing that increasing that capacity, and therefore they will have to procure also and provide the testing facilities. And in that case, that will help us in increasing the testing capacity. I mean, nationwide. I mean, for the country. So what I'm saying is that if we allow the private sector to operate again, it might help in increasing the testing capacity, and it will somehow help the government. No, they will augment whatever government is doing also in increasing the testing capacity. That would be PCR based. I mean, the gold standard. Kasi
Right.
doon na binabase talaga yung
Right.
capacity. The rapid test is basically aiding only, but ang bilangan nandun sa PCR base. That's the reason why we're pushing for that increase in that capacity, so that hopefully by May 15, we are able to do more than 15, maybe 17,000 cases tests per day. That will help us in coming up with possible lifting after May 15.
All right. Secretary Mon Lopez of the Department of Trade and Industry. Sir, thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Okay, thank you too. Bye-bye.
We have the latest on the controversial killing of a former soldier in Quezon